Hello everyone, welcome back to our channel. In today's video I want to talk a little bit about using the weapons in Aikido. And I will especially focus on the BOKKEN, and I will explain a little bit how we want to move around with the BOKKEN to integrate it into our system, into our body, and to avoid getting stuck in some movements, to become more fluid with the weapon. And actually I will share a few practices or exercises how we can get our body to use to working with a weapon, which is something external, but we want to, in a way, internalize it. So let's have a look at the practice. So first thing I want to talk about is our perception of a weapon. Actually, we want the weapon to become a part of our system as we are training, moving, fighting, whatever. We don't want to consider it as an external tool, a tool that is external to our body, that we have to hold, manage, move it. Actually, I don't want to think about moving the weapon, the BOKKEN. I want to think about moving my whole body, my whole system, and the BOKKEN being part of it. So I don't consider it something external. It's like an extension of my arm. Is if my arm holding the weapon was getting longer. Okay, so there is a simple exercise where you can check if it kind of works for you or not. You can take the weapon, the BOKKEN, at the very end of the handle and just hold it to the side. Now, if you consider that you're holding something in your arm that is external, very quickly you will start feeling it getting heavy. So it will be more and more difficult to hold on to it. It's something external. It's a weight that I have to hold. It's getting more heavy in our perception as well. Now, if you consider that the weapon is internal to your system, it's like holding your arm. So I can hold my other arm here, my arm, extended arm here on this side, and for me it's becoming like the same. I'm just holding up my arms. I'm not really holding something external in my arm, but I have one arm which is a bit shorter, one arm which is a bit longer, but it becomes more easy, much easier to hold on to the BOKKEN. It's also better supported from the center, from our base. So actually I'm not holding something here trying to keep it up in the air, but I'm supporting it from the base, and that makes it easier. The other way of seeing it, that it's becoming part of your body, that you're supporting the BOKKEN, it's kind of sending your energy, your feeling through the BOKKEN. So I'm not just holding it here on the handle, I focus on the handle, and all of this is, I have to manipulate it. But actually it's becoming, I'm putting some energy through my arm, through the BOKKEN. It's like becoming one thing, one long arm. And I want to feel the BOKKEN until the end, until the tip. Okay, this is similar to writing with a pen on a paper, actually. As you are writing with a pen on a paper, you would normally sense the paper, even sometimes the structure of the paper. You can sense the difference between different types of paper as you write. You're not touching the paper with your fingers, but you're holding onto the pen and touching the paper with the pen, through the tip of the pen. And this is actually giving this feeling of what the paper is like as you are writing. Similar with the BOKKEN. So I want to feel the BOKKEN until the tip and feel what is at the end of the tip of the BOKKEN. So not only here the handle, and when it's something external that I have no feeling for it, that I just have to move it around, but it's something really almost integral to my body, almost like I'm feeling through it. I can sense what is at the end. And here comes another exercise that would enable you to do this, to practice this feeling. I hope you don't have too long name to start with, because if you have a long name it will be more difficult, but you can try to write your first name in the air with your BOKKEN, letter by letter. It's a simple exercise. So right now I'm writing Marcin. It's a simple exercise, but it gives you the feeling for the tip of the bokken. Same thing, same practice as writing with a pen on a paper. If you don't have practice, it's difficult in the beginning. When you get more practice, it's getting easier. Similar with a bokken. As you practice it, writing different things, your first name, your last name, your girlfriend's or boyfriend's or husband's or wife's name, or children names, or then you can go to some other stuff, whatever you want to write. Just practicing the writing. And even with the other hand, we are usually not used to writing with the other hand, but you can still practice it with the bokken. Okay, to get the feeling also for the tip of the bokken in the other hand. And maybe bokken is usually used on one side, so most of the time we would use bokken on one side, mainly driving it with one hand or moving it with one hand, guiding with the other. But if you switch to the jaw is kind of universal in terms of two tips, possibility to use it from both sides in the same way, so it helps to practice all the time both sides in Aikido. Once you get the feeling for the bokken, a little bit feeling through the bokken, and with the tip of the bokken almost touching something, you can also practice actually touching things. So when I move to the wall, I can practice touching the wall with the bokken, or the hitting, or anything. So just get a feel for the distance, get a feel for the tip of the bokken. It's another thing that we can do, that we can practice. Or have something around where you want to put the bokken through the center of it. Anything that is like a circle shaped, or any other shape that has like a hole in the center, you can try. You can even try thrusting, simple thrusting movement, but getting through the center, and maybe not touching the structure which is around, the circle or any other shape. And then we go into the movement with the bokken. So as we are moving with the bokken, as I want to turn, for example, it's not that I want to block someone attacking me from the side. I don't want to move specifically the bokken to do the block, because moving the bokken is slowlier and it's not that well integrated with the body movement. Actually, I want all my movements to come from the center, from the base. So even the movement of the bokken is not getting there first to block, but my body is moving in a way to create the block with the bokken. So actually the bokken is following my center and my base. So whenever I move, I want the bokken to follow. So I'm connecting the bokken to my center. This is why we hold this hand here in front of the center. And as I move around, whatever way I move, the bokken is moving with me, right? And it's the bokken is following my body. It's not my body following the bokken. It's not my arms moving the bokken and then the body following. It's the other way around. It's my body creating the movement, because the bokken is actually part of my body. And if I move, for example, without the bokken, when I move my body, the hands are following. Okay? So wherever I move my body, my hands are following, they are staying in front of me. I'm not moving the hands to the side and then adjusting my body. So I want to do exactly the same thing with the bokken. I don't want to move the bokken first and then adjust my body, but I want to create the movement of the bokken through the movement of my body. So whichever way I go, whatever I do, the bokken is following my center, my base. Now, the last thing I want to share today with you in this video is the kind of free movement with the bokken. So, of course, we practice the 7 Kensuburi, we practice the Kumijo, we practice some awase movements with a partner, we practice some specific, well-defined things that are repeating specific movements. But we can also do some free movements practice. It's almost like a solo jiu-waza with a bokken, right? And if you if you don't know what I mean by saying solo Jiwaza, you can refer to a video that I link below in the description on the solo Jiwaza that we made some time ago. But you want to move freely with the bokken in any way, imagining anything you want, cutting, piercing, thrusting, whatever. You can imagine many opponents around you, or you can do it without opponents, just getting a feeling from your body which movement from this position your body would like to do. Maybe a little block, maybe a little cut. Whatever it is. The idea is that it feels free, that you are not stuck to very specific predefined movement. You can do creative things, creative movements in any way you want. And this is helping actually to make your passes from one movement to another, from one position to another, more fluid. So your body is getting used to move around with the bokken freely, whatever you're doing. It doesn't have to be really the standard basic movements. And this is also helping to integrate the bokken into your system. One thing is as you're moving, as your body is moving, as your system is moving, the bokken is part of it, so it's moving with you. And the other thing is you're not stuck to the repetitive conditioning practice of a specific movement, specific exercise, and cut away from the others maybe. I mean, if you practice suburi, it's very important to practice the cut, the first suburi, for example. But the first suburi you practice the first cut, the second suburi you practice the second one, and they are always isolated, so you practice one at a time, repeat one at a time. When you practice awase or kumijo with a partner, you have some predefined sequences that you are repeating with a partner, but it's always the same sequence, the same sequence, the same sequence. So you're kind of getting stuck in a pattern. And now this free movement with a bokken, it's allowing you to break these patterns and to become more independent and creative and ready to react in any situation, whatever happens. You don't need to have a response pattern prepared through the training for a given situation, because you cannot prepare for all the situations that might happen. So you should also be practicing a bit of this freestyle movement that is more creative, that is not linked to predefined sequences. Hope you found this exercises and this sharing interesting and useful for your practice. If it's the way, or if you have any questions, feel free to put something in the comments. And hope to see you again in our next video. Thanks for watching. Bye.